And welcome back to Lantern Corp video. Forgive me if you hear this. Check my settings real quick. Yep, my fan's coming on in the background there. It's hot. It's muggy. We just had a break from the heat with a thunderstorm to pass through. So yeah, the fan's on in the background. We're gonna have to live with that, folks. But coming us today, we have what Lantern Corp does Cartman, Eric Cartman from South Park belong in? Now, I've had suggestions for all the South Park main characters, Stan, Kyle, Kenny, and Cartman. Someone comes to us from Nicholas Nick Thompson, Luke Morehouse, and White Knight. If someone else has given me that and I had forgotten, I apologize. Cartman is a unique character because he does fall into some weird categories when it comes into the Lantern Corp's emotional spectrum. So let me tackle three of the ones I do not believe he falls into before we go into a couple of the ones he does fall into, in my personal opinion. He is not a Green Lantern. Despite the fact he's accomplished a lot, he's still just a fourth grader, I think they are. He's still just a fourth grader. He's a bitch, really. Like, if someone stands up to Cartman, he will back down immediately. He does not have the will nor the ability to overcome great fear to be a Green Lantern. He just doesn't. He's also not someone people are afraid. People get rightly pissed off with him and hate him on a lot of occasions. But there's no one who's outright afraid of him. He does not inspire great fear, more like great annoyance. So he's not a Yellow Lantern either. And he's not a Lantern of compassion due to the fact that he barely has compassion, but he has. It's weird to say. Cartman is displayed inexplicable. Yeah, I can't say the word. Inexplicable moments of compassion. One of the most recent ones I remember, and I don't watch South Park on a regular basis, but it'll be on in the morning before work, so I'll catch a couple episodes. Occasionally I'll watch some with Mark, but it was just never something I really grew up on. But I've grown to appreciate it a bit more as I've gotten older. But one of the most recent one with the Pandemic Special, where, they got the pangolin, and he's about to shred the pangolin and the Build-A-Bear, and then Stan finally has that breakdown. Cartman actually looks at the pangolin, and he gives it up to people. And even it gives it up to the guys who are going to, try to find the cure to the virus. And everyone's actually looking at this like, did Cartman just do that? Like, Cartman does actually have, albeit spaced far and few between, moments of legitimate compassion and understanding for his friends. Because weirdly enough, despite how terrible he is, and he is terrible, these guys are still his friends, amazingly. So there is some level of a human being in there. But now let's actually get to some of the Lantern Corps I think he will qualify for. I think he's very much capable of being a Red Lantern because he really is just a terrible person who throws so much tantrums when he doesn't get his way. He is a spoiled brat and who just gets pissed off at the worst things. One of the episodes I watched most recently, and again, I've not watched South Park in its entirety at all. I've seen, of the 20-some-odd seasons, I've seen maybe 2 seasons worth of episodes in my lifetime spread across the entire series. So, but in one of them, the girls got, the school lunch changed like a vegetarian gluten meal or whatever, and Cartman got angry and had a heart attack over it. And, he's still throwing. So, he's certainly got anger, and I think he's got enough anger that in the right circumstance he can be a Red Lantern. The catch there is he's not consistently angry. Rage doesn't fuel him on a consistent basis. So I think that's the big catch there. Now we're going to be going back and forth real quick between what he can and what he can't qualify for. What he can't qualify for, in my opinion, is a Blue Lantern Ring of Hope. He does not inspire hope, except in the rarest of circumstances where he's the key to doing something. He is not someone who holds on to hope very well because he's an impatient little shit. Like when he wanted to get the new video game system, I think like the Wii was it, he couldn't wait an extra wait a week or something like that and end up going in the future and it didn't work out. So yeah, he's not a Lantern Corps member of Hope. What he also could be though, and I think this is one of the strongest categories, is a Lantern member of Avarice. He is a greedy little shit. He is never satisfied. He will continually just do something for his own amusement. when he gets bored and just moves on to the next thing. He can be satisfied for minute moments, but the minute that satisfaction is taken away, is over, he just needs to be satisfied again on something. When it comes to food, he just needs to eat again. When it comes to messing with someone, he just needs to mess with someone else again. It's very rarely that he's ever content, and that is very much the true nature of avarice, is never be satisfied. Add on to the fact that he makes everything about himself, and you have a pretty good candidate for Lantern Corp of Avarice. Now, granted, he'd have to beat the shit out of Larfleeze to get that Lantern Ring, and that's not going to happen. So once the War of Light is happening again, and, Larfleeze has to send out a Lantern Ring or two, he's not going to be a member of Avarice. He's also not a Black Lantern, despite the fact he has taken the lives of several people. He has killed a kid's parents and fed them the people chili that he made out of them. But he's not someone who's entrenched in death, who is a true Black Lantern. And he's also not a White Lantern of life. Despite the fact he's alive and is very happy with his life, and does a lot of things to feel alive, surprisingly, being a kid, selfish, filling out his own desires, he has not done enough to cultivate life. And protect life. He is more than willing to snuff out life. He does not care about life. That's the big problem there. So he could not be a Lantern Corps member of life. But the one other one I think we need to talk about, because it's a bit of a weird one, is the Star Sapphire Lantern Corps of love. Now, love can be many things. Love, lust. It can be love for someone else, love for oneself. And Cartman is very much all about himself. He cares and loves really only himself. Now, he's had a girlfriend here or there, but it's still more about him than it is them. Now, the counter argument to that, though, is that loving yourself, is that mostly still avarice? That's the question you'd have to ask yourself here. If it is, then we'll just take the Sapphire Lantern Ring out of there. But if it isn't, then Sapphire could work in terms of a selfish love for oneself. But ultimately, that one's a bit loose on the spectrum in my mind. What I would say is, though, that between the most likely two, Red and Avarice, Avarice, I think, is the most likely Lantern Corps for Cartman. So, as it stands in order, Avarice number 1, Red Lantern Ring Rage number 2, and then Star Sapphire Love 3. Those are the 3 Lantern Corps I think he most likely fits in, but that is just my opinion. What is your opinion? Put in the comments below, let me know. But thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, if you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know the review at some point. Hit that bell if you want to be notified. I'll be back tomorrow with What If. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you folks next time. Later.